Makers of Does, the new kind of granulated soap for all three kinds of wash.
Is anybody?
There she is. That's Molly Goldberg, folks. A woman with a place in every heart and a finger in every pie. And now the makers of New Does, that new kind of soap for everything right down your wash line, bring you another visit with those good folks, the Goldbergs.
Oh, boy, was Mrs. Jones burned up. Why, she acted as if something terrible had happened.
What did you do?
Well, you see, this morning she was busy washing clothes, so she asked me what I go to the store for.
Yeah?
And, well, when I get to the store, I can't remember the name of the soap she wants.
Uh-oh.
But I figured one kind's as good as another.
And that shows all you know about it.
Yeah, that's what Mrs. Jones said. Young man, she says, very indignant-like. If you ever had a big wash to do, you know when I tell you I want Does, I want Does.
Oh, what's Does?
What's Does? So you wouldn't ask that if you had heard Mrs. Jones. Well, she says this Does is a new kind of granulated soap. And it sure must be wonderful stuff. Mrs. Jones says Does does all three kinds of wash. Towels, work shirts, rayons, everything.
Yes, have you found out about this amazing new soap for everything in your wash? Does is Procter & Gamble's new soap discovery, and it does all three kinds of wash. Why, you can take your nicer colored washables, your pretty rayon slips and dresses, and turn them right over to Does. And Does will do them with far greater safety for those pretty colors than you get in any of the four other leading granulated wash day soaps. And yet Does doesn't back down on the tough jobs, not a bit. It gets heavy work shirts clean without any hard scrubbing, and no boiling. And as for your white pieces, say, Does will show you just how really dazzling white your towels and linens can be. Why, no soap made washes clothes whiter than Does. Honestly, once you try Does, you'll see it's not just a new improvement of an old soap, but a really new kind of granulated soap. You've never before been able to buy a soap quite like it. So just ask for Does, D-U-Z, in the big red and white box. And next wash day, let Does do everything. And now, the Goldbergs. Every family has to go through the coming of age of the children. And Rosie Goldberg's young womanhood is giving Molly and Jake quite a ride for their money. The sum of her efforts so far has been the breakup of Walter's engagement to another girl, Walter's decision to be free of his own family and make his own living, Jake's offer of a job to Walter in the mill. As Jake says, he's having son-in-law trouble without having a son-in-law. And this would all be more amusing to Jake if it were less serious. Just how serious it can be, we see today.
Rosalie, please. So change your face. Change your face and finish the table. All will be here for supper momentarily.
Well, what am I doing,
Rosalie,
Ma?
please, you know.
Well, I don't see, Mama, darling, why Papa
Why,
has...
Papa, what?
I don't mean that Seymour doesn't deserve a promotion.
He deserves.
He does. He's worked very hard for it.
Indeed.
He's been faithful and loyal and everything, and he certainly deserves to get ahead. But that doesn't mean that Walter should have to sweep the floor.
Did Papa said that?
Papa said the bottom.
No. No, so well. So if Papa said the bottom? So if Papa did said the bottom? And if Walter does start on the bottom? So that's wrong, Rosalie. Do you think a young man without experience should start by being president?
I didn't say so, Mama, darling. I'm sure Walter won't mind. I know he won't. He wants to work. He knows he has to work now that he's refused to accept any help from his family. But just because a person is eager and willing to take any kind of a job, even sweeping the floor is no reason why they should sweep the floor.
No one said Walter's going to sweep the floor. No one said it. And besides, Rosalie, don't forget, dear. Don't forget, and let me remind you if you don't know it already. Your father began on the bottom, too, also, carrying packages. Your father began on the bottom. There's nothing to be ashamed, Rosalie.
I didn't say I was ashamed of it, and I know Walter won't be. After all, Mama, darling, a boy like Walter, who's always had everything he wanted, won't mind doing anything. He's not snobbish. I merely mean that he should have an opportunity to advance.
All right, Rosalie, please.
Mama, darling, I love him so much. I want him to be happy.
If he loves you, Rosalie, he will be happy. If he gave up so much already, there's nothing more to lose. From now on, Rosalie, darling, everything is something to be gained. Don't forget that. And in life, what's gained isn't what you count in numbers. It's what you count in experience. If Walter always lived with a golden spoon, sweeping a floor will be a wonderful thing for him. Don't forget, Mama, you. A person has to live a life that's all the way around. All the way around, my dear. On the edges and the center, all the way. He has to know what it means to work with his hands as well as his head. He has to know what it is to take orders as well as give them.
What makes you think he doesn't want to? Walter wants to, Mama, darling. That's why he refused to accept his mother's ultimatum. He preferred to do what he wanted, to be free rather than live the way she wanted him to.
All right. Very well. Then he can only be happy, and you will be happy also, if that's how it is. So you can change your face, my darling, and then set the table. Remember, Rosalie, if you want freedom, you have to take the bad with the good. And if all you want is to be safe, well, then you have no freedom. But you have, how shall I say it, then you have comfort. And in this world, Rosalie, people know that freedom is worth more than just safety. Whether you have to fight a war to get it or sweep a floor. Just remember that, my kid. Remember that. And now let it be a period already on the subject, please. Please. Did you tell Walter what time to come here for supper? Because Papa will be here presently, and Papa likes to sit immediately on the table.
Walter will probably be coming here with Papa and Sammy.
Suppose. I hope. Did Walter said he was going to see Papa DeMille? About a position?
Of course he will. Don't you think he wants to work?
I didn't say.
I didn't say anything about the kind of position Papa was offering Walter because...
Because what again?
Well...
All right, Rosie, please. All right. Start from the bottom should be a privilege for anybody, including Walter. I say it again.
I don't think Walter would want to start any other way, but just the same,
quickly.
What, Mom?
Quickly, run, Mama. My leg is burning, I think. Wait, take a towel and don't burn yourself.
All right, Mom.
Oh, yes, it is.
You better come in here.
My leg is burning.
You come in.
In the conversation. In the conversation.
Don't worry, Mom.
I shouldn't have worried about the conversation.
Walter?
No. Sammy.
Was Walter down at the mill, Sammy?
No.
Rosalie, you pick the tomatoes and the lettuce are standing. You want to make the salad, you said. So make it. Yes, dear? Walter wasn't to the mill?
Nope.
He didn't call her with your barn?
If Walter didn't go down to the mill, there must be a very good reason.
Rosalie, please, who's saying? Where is Papa, Sammy?
He's waiting a while longer.
You mean for Walter? Maybe he'll think...
What did you say, Mom?
What did I say, Ma? What did I say? I said nothing, Rosalie. I said nothing. What did I say? I can speak a syllable? I can speak a word? What did I say? I said nothing. What should I say?
Well, you seem upset.
I'm upset. Sammy, I seem upset. I'm upset. I put a leg in the oven. I should want the leg to burn. That's why I'm upset. I don't want the leg to spoil. Did you throw an eye in the soup?
No, I will.
Never mind. I will.
Mama's worried about Walter not going to the mill.
Nobody seems worried but you, Rosie.
I'm not worried. Why should I
Well,
be?
it seems to me if Papa offered Walter a job, he should take it if he wants to work. And if he doesn't...
Doesn't what?
Well, I mean, if he wasn't interested...
Well, why shouldn't he be interested?
Well, why didn't he call up or...
Is that you, Walter?
No, it's Papa, Mom.
Jay?
Jay.
Hello, Papa, darling.
Good evening.
Good evening, dear.
Good evening. Do you know why Walter didn't come to the mill, Rosie?
No, I don't. Well, why all the looks?
When are we going to eat, Molly?
We're waiting for Walter for supper.
I'll go up and wash.
Very well.
I expect to eat when I come down.
Oh, Why don't you call up and see what's keeping her?
I don't have to call up. If Walter said he'd be here for supper, he'll be here.
Said he'd be at the mill, too, didn't he?
I didn't hear him say that.
He was offered a job, wasn't he?
Well,
Well, what?
Sammy.
you won't think he isn't interested. You've all made up your minds that Walter doesn't want to
Who
work.
said anything like that?
You did.
I didn't.
You inferred it.
You mean implied?
Don't teach me how to speak English.
Well, somebody should. You meant
Sammy.
implied.
I don't care what I meant. Walter is interested. I know he's interested. And if you
If he was
people think
interested,
that-
why didn't he call up?
Oh, please, please, please.
there no towels here today.
Go up and give Papa a towel.
Mama, if...
Papa's waiting for a towel.
And don't forget, Sammy, you're not much younger than Walter. How much work have you done in your life?
Papa's waiting for a towel.
Did somebody hear me say I want a
I'm
towel?
coming. Oh, let me take it, Mama.
Papa's waiting for a towel.
You get it, Sammy.
I will not.
Sammy.
Hello?
Rosie?
Yes, Walter.
A towel, I said.
Are you all waiting for me?
Yes, Walter.
Why wasn't he at the mill? Ask him.
Rosie, I did a stupid thing. I was reading a book and I fell asleep.
Well, isn't that wonderful?
What's wonderful?
Is that where you were all afternoon?
Well, I just fell asleep and...
I'll tell that to my father. He'll be so pleased. Do you think you'll like it?
Well, what are you talking about, Rosie? I just happened to fall asleep
It's
and...
wonderful.
But you don't have to be sarcastic about it.
I'm not, Walter. It's wonderful.
What's wonderful?
Hurry up over so we can talk about it.
About my falling asleep?
Hurry, Walter. I'm so happy. Goodbye. There. See? You're all worried. Worried because Walter didn't come over for a job. You see?
What did we
What?
say?
What?
What did we say?
He was over at Drybrook all afternoon. He has some connections there.
And?
And he may get a big job at the bank in Drybrook. Isn't that wonderful?
So what are you crying if it's so wonderful?
Well, don't people usually cry when they're happy?
Rosie doesn't know what she's crying about. But if she were older, she would be remembering the words of the girl Walter gave up. Words which should have a real meaning now. For Norma said that Walter would take a lot of covering up and a lot of help. And here's little Rosie telling a lie right now to protect him from her own family's honest opinions. Sound the tocsin. Toll the bell. We're gonna ring the Axis knell. A good idea? Sure. And you know how we'll do it? By all working together. Cooperation, that's our slogan. And believe me, there's something urgent you can do to speed America's victory drive. Are you willing? Swell. Then right now make up your mind to share your car with your friends and neighbors as much as possible. Yes, no matter where you're driving, see if you can't take your neighbors with you. And make arrangements for them to share their car with your family, too. For example,
If you use your car for shopping, arrange with 3 or 4 neighbors to share your cars. Ride together and each time use a different car.
make the same arrangements for taking the children to school.
Have your husband work out similar plans for driving to work.
Your government considers car sharing vital to the success of our war drive. Now just think. Sharing your car with 4 neighbors helps your tires last 4 times as long. It saves 4 times as much gas and oil for our fighting forces and allies and adds years to the service of your car. And saves lots of extra money for you.
So get busy. Today, right now, sit down with your friends and neighbors and work out every practical way to share your automobiles. Let's make sure your auto is a strong link in America's transportation chain. That's one way to help ensure a speedy victory.
Be sure to listen to the next episode of the Goldbergs. Tomorrow, the lie blows up like a bubble, and Molly finds a pin with which to explode it. This is Clayton Collier wishing you good day for Procter & Gamble, makers of Does, the new kind of granulated soap for all 3 kinds of wash.